Hey, welcome back to Jelly Side Up with a Side of Scotch. I'm Lisa Olick. Happy Sunday. It is absolutely stunning out. We went from freezing cold winter to 60 degree spring in a matter of a week. So, welcome to New England. So, today I wanted to talk to you about. I've told you before that I can get myself into trouble by, thinking how hard could something be when in reality I have no clue. Well, if you couple that with someone telling me that I shouldn't, or, whatever you do, don't, that's like double dog daring me. And I almost have to do whatever it is that I'm not supposed to do or shouldn't do. So, but several years ago, the Wizard of O was going on a business trip, and the sink in the upstairs bathroom was dripping, and it wasn't dripping a lot, but it was dripping, and so I tried shutting off the valves underneath, and it was still dripping. So I just asked him, why would the sink still be dripping if I've shut it off underneath? Oh, well, the valve must be gone. Oh, I need to replace the valve. And I went, oh, okay, that sounds simple. And he said, don't touch it. Whatever you do, don't touch it. Oh, okay. And off he goes. And of course, I felt the need to touch it. How hard can this be? It had flex tubing and it had two nuts, and it just looked really simple. So I thought I would completely ignore him and fix this valve. So I shut off the water. I went down into the basement and I shut off the water to the whole house. And I cracked all the faucets and drained the system and got my handy dandy wrench and took this valve off, and took it down the road to our hardware store. Now, our hardware store had recently, within 6 months, had moved to a new location. It's beautiful, and so I walked in and I held up my little valve and I said, I need one of these, and they said, they don't make those anymore. Okay, then I need something to replace this, and they must have seen me coming, because they spent the next, I don't know, 20 minutes to a half an hour creating this valve for me out of solid brass. It was about that big. It had a handle on it that looked like I could stop the Titanic, and solid brass, like $30. And they hand me this thing, and they said, if it doesn't work, bring it back. Okay. So I went home and I went upstairs and I put the new valve in, and I went down 2 flights of stairs into the basement and turned the water on. And I can hear water running because I've opened all the taps, remember? So I can hear water running. So I go upstairs and I shut off the faucet in the kitchen, and I can still hear water running. And I start through the dining room when my cats meet me coming the other way, and their eyes are huge and their tails are all puffy, and they're just racing past me. I run upstairs and I have created a water feature in my bathroom, complete with fountain and pond. And so I panic and I run all the way back down into the basement, shut the water off again, run back upstairs, gathering towels as I go. And I take off the new $30 brass valve and I take it back to the hardware store. And now I am soaked and filthy. And they laughed at me. They laughed at me. So they did give me my money back, but they laughed at me. So I went home and I put the old valve back in. Well, in that 20 minutes to a half an hour while they were creating this brass monstrosity, I had been playing with said valve. And now it really leaked. I mean, now we were having a serious leak. So I'm like, I have to fix this. The wizard won't be back for 2 weeks. I have to fix this. And he told me not to touch it. So I really have to fix this now. So I started thinking, our hardware store had just recently moved. Well, you're not going to pack up all your old stuff, are you? So I need to go to a hardware store that's been around for a while, that I know this valve is in a box somewhere with dust on it in their basement. So I went down the highway about half an hour and went to this little hardware store. And I walked in and there were 2 women and a gentleman behind the counter. And I put my big old bag on the counter and I dug through and I got this valve. And I held it up and I said, my husband has told me not to touch this, and I've touched it, and I need a replacement. Do you have one? And one of the women takes it and she says, I think we have one of these. And she turned to the man and said, we have one of these. We have these in stock, don't we? At which point the man put up his hands and said, her husband told her not to touch it. And he turned around and walked away. What? Even the woman was like, what? No. I did not know that there was a code of conduct concerning husbands telling wives things in hardware stores. I had no idea. I was very well educated at the moment. And the woman said, I'm pretty sure we have, you just stay right there. And no lie, she was blowing the dust off this package when she brought it to me, but it was the exact same valve that I came in with. And I went home and 20 minutes later, it was fixed. It was fixed. And I called her and thanked her for saving my butt. So, you know, I guess the moral of this story is, you know, don't let people tell you what to do and what not to do. If you feel something in your gut, you know, you should do it. You should just do it. And if you create the Bellagio in your bathroom, well, you know, there is that. But don't let anybody tell you what to do and what not to do. Follow your heart, do your own thing. And yeah, sometimes you'll mess up, but sometimes you might blow the dust off something and find that it's exactly what you need. So I thank you for joining me. If I made you even giggle, I'd love it if you would click the thumbs up button and subscribe. I think we're up to 23 people. We are burning up the airwaves. But as always, I'm just here to have fun and tell stories. And if you join me, that's even better. And as always, here is to good health. And if you see me in town, don't double dog dare me.